Hey everybody, welcome to SoundPure. My name is Paul, and today's quick gear tip is going to be all about setting up your drums, specifically your tom-toms, the different ergonomic choices that you have when setting them up, and how different setup options affect your sound. So when you're setting up your new drum set and you're trying to figure out how you want to set up your tom-toms, there's basically two major ways that you can set your tom-toms up around your kit. Mounting them to a cymbal stand or to a bass drum mount if your bass drum has one, or placing them in a snare basket. Each of these options are going to have different connotations in terms of overall comfort and ergonomics around the kit, and they can also affect your sound. So the first method of tom mounting that I mentioned is going to be flying it off of a cymbal stand or attaching it to a bass drum mount. When you attach a tom-tom to a stand using an L-rod, and if your tom comes with one, a rims mount like on this Noble and Cooley set, that's going to allow the drum to breathe a little bit more and resonate a little bit more because you don't have so much metal contacting the shell of the tom-tom. It used to be where most tom-toms just had brackets drilled straight into the shell, and then a gentleman named Thomas Gauger actually developed what he called the rims mount, which is a way of basically isolating the mount so that it is not in contact with your shell, which in turn, less contact with the shell means the shell has more room to breathe. And so when you fly it off of a cymbal stand like this, it's going to give you a little bit of flexibility in terms of ergonomics and adjusting the angle, but as well you have to keep in mind that it will be married to this stand, so you have to place the stand accordingly, and you also have to be cognizant of the weight of the tom that's attached to the stand, as well as the cymbal. You don't want to overload your stand with too much weight if it can't handle it. Otherwise, you're going to have your rig topple over during a gig, and that's not going to be fun for the stage guy to come help set you back up. The other way that you can mount a tom to your kit is not really even mounting it, it's just placing it in a classic snare basket. This method is widely used, guys like John Bonham, anybody who's playing a bass drum that's 24, 26 inches. This is basically the best option you have for placing your mounted tom, just because when you fly a tom off of a cymbal stand or try to attach it to such a large bass drum, it's going to place it pretty high up relative to where you're sitting. For me, I'm a shorter guy, so I don't really have the option of a tom being so high up. So if you're playing a 24 or 26 inch kick, placing a tom, especially if it's a bigger tom like this 14-inch pork pie, in a snare basket lets you put it off to the side and still lets you keep that tom nice and low and comfortable to play while still accommodating for that larger bass drum. One thing you have to keep in mind though when you're putting your toms in a snare basket is that the additional contact of the basket to the bottom rim does affect the resonance of the drum a little bit. You'll notice that the sustain might be a little bit shorter and the tone might not be as pure because a lot of that energy is being dissipated through the drum shell to the rim and down into the floor, so it won't spray as much tone. So in a sense, placing your tom in a snare basket might help you to control your tone a little bit more if your tom is a little bit too resonant. The change you're going to notice is small. If your ears aren't trained to notice that kind of a difference, you're probably not going to hear it. But if you've been playing drums for years and years and you know the difference that a snare basket versus a tom mount can make in terms of your resonance, then you'll have a pretty good idea of which route to go with when you're setting up your new kit. And if you still have any other questions about setting up your kit, if you have a question about ergonomics and how to get the most optimum tone out of your kit, whether you're playing live or in a studio or just for your own pleasure, you can give us a call. We here in the drum department are going to be more than happy to talk about drums with you and help you find the perfect tone. Thanks a lot for watching this gear tip, guys, and we'll catch you for the next one.